All right, it's 2:40. I stayed up for the press conference, and it was everything I wanted. All right, so 3:05 press conference. Dricus Duplessis versus Israel Adesanya. The questions were okay. They ended up being pretty good because every topic that came up that I wanted to come up came up. We'll start with low. We'll start low. So Tuivasa and Big Boy just said that they want to fight each other and knock each other out, which cool. Tai Tuivasa got all the cheers. Steve Urseg versus Kaikara France. France got booed. Urseg got cheered. He's from Perth. He sounded weird, but he was being wholesome and it was cool. And yeah, that's all that happened with that. Gamrot Hooker. Hooker got a good amount of questions. Gamrot and Hooker both got a good amount of questions, which is just it's I guess it's better than Kai Car France getting questions, but it's just like, come on, let's get to the people that matter. But yeah, um, Hooker is was in a nice outfit and got a question about that, and it was weird. And then Gamrot just said he's gonna wrestle him. So cool. I hope he gets knocked out. But then the main event is amazing. What happened with that? So Drakus, he did every quote in the book that I wanted him to do. He did the dog thing. He brought up the dog, the whole situation with Izzy where he touched his dog's penis and he has a dog fetish and that whole thing that blew up and follows dog fetish pages and stuff. Drakus brought it up when he said something about the odds are getting closer, and Izzy was like, "Who am I the underdog now?" And then Drakus was just pretty much said, "Who brought up dogs? Nobody brought up dogs, dude. What are you talking about?" And he was sick, and he got pissed for a second, but kept himself like together. But later in the press conference, it didn't go his way. He got really, really upset, but we'll get to that. And it was, oh, he's DDP is in his head so bad. He's in his head. Oh, God. We might see either. This makes this fight super interesting because we'll either see a crazy fire Izzy, like fired up Izzy that will just go for the finish, which is kind of interesting, to be honest. Or we'll see him make a bunch of mistakes and then DDP gets this one done like I want him to. But yeah, super interesting. And then DDP brings up the whole African thing and being a real African, and Izzy brings up that he's gonna go to Nigeria after he wins the belt, and then Drickus says, "Are you gonna bring your servants with you?" Because Izzy grew up with servants. He went on an interview and said that he was bathed as a kid and didn't learn how to bathe until he was 8 because he was bathed and fed by maids. And that's a crazy thing to say, especially because Izzy thinks he's less. The whole narrative is that if you're not, to me, this is what it sounds like. You're not African unless you went through some sort of struggle. And for Izzy to have servants really discredits that whole deal with that whole situation. And he got completely just pissed and went super off the rails and started crying, like actually crying tears and freaking out. And Drekus wasn't even on his like A game. He wasn't on his A game in terms of like usually it's like a sharp tongue and he's able to like come back with like lines that are like crisp. But he was kind of stumbling over his words a little bit. And even then, it made Izzy, it just showed like Izzy is not in a good state right now mentally. Or I guess it's a toss up. He could be in a really good like motivated state or it could just crumble. And I don't think Izzy has a I think Izzy's very insecure. He's very insecure about his whole situation and that in his standing in his country because there's the stories about him going back to Nigeria with like guards and stuff and like flexing on the communities around there. So it's just like, and none of these are stories that he is saying. So it's not like they're rumors. He's the one saying them. So it makes it super interesting when you start to look at his mental state, and it makes me think he's super insecure, and Dreykus is really getting on his nerves bad, and got up in a tantrum and like slammed the chair, like slammed the table and got up. And then the face-offs, none of them were cool. This one was even it was intense, but I think Izzy said some South African words or something to him, like he did in the other one, which is fucking dumb in my opinion. And Drake just stared him down. And yeah, I think this made this fight super interesting. And this press conference was all that I wanted from it. It was great. It was perfect. And I'm very excited for the fight this weekend. And I need Drickus to win, because if Izzy wins, it'd be so bad. It'd be so bad. The cringe is overwhelming. He broke down in tears. And it's just like, dude, it's okay. It's okay that you didn't grow up as bad as other people. It's okay that you didn't that you weren't poor and struggling at the time. It's okay. It just doesn't need to be a big thing. Like, you and Drakus were both probably pretty well off. The only difference to me that I'm seeing is that Izzy doesn't think Drakus can be the real champ because he's white. I don't think Drakus was meaning it by a racial way, but they keep bringing up race. And it's so weird. It's so bizarre. And I think that Izzy is just losing his mind now. And and I think my prediction, it'll be the detriment of him. And I think, yeah, he's going to go down. And it'll be just horrible. But it'll be so interesting if he loses, to see what everybody thinks. The narratives for this fight are stupid. The it's just Izzy fans are super delusional to me. I don't like it. You can like Izzy, but to say he's like entertaining now is just wrong. He's not. He's not entertaining now. After he got the belt, he has not been entertaining. All of his fights are boring. He had one of the most boring fights ever with Yoel Romero. And Dreykus has never had a boring fight. And people are saying he's a boring champ. And it's just like, what are you talking about? It's just stupid. And his one-liners are horrible. The frozen like Elsa is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And it's just like, God, I just want this guy to lose so bad. So this press conference went perfectly for me. And yeah, I'm very excited. And I will see you guys soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to make a video on my least favorite fighters, I think. And you best believe Izzy is making the list. So I'll see you then. I'll see you soon.